जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय जमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गौरानिथाय जय गौरानिथाय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव श्री राधा माधव भगवान की जय राधा गिरधारी भगवान की जय His divine grace Srila Prabhupada की जय ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनं शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna to everyone and all the viewers online. Welcome to the Bhagavatam class. And before that, we will be reading from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, page 972, and the chapter title is Jet Age Parivrajakacarya. So, quoting Bhagavad Gita, a shastra with which the professor was familiar in his own way, Prabhupada described Lord Krishna as the creator of the four divisions of society. Professor Kotovsky immediately countered with the theory of the Soviet scholars that Varnashram divisions were a recent addition to Vedic culture. He also again registered his opinion that divisions of Varnashram had no meaning with socialism. Professor Kotovsky, these are his words. There is a great distinction between a socialist society and all societies preceding socialism. Because in modern Western society, you can group all social and professional classes in the particular class divisions: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. But here we have no Vaishyas because we have administrative staff in factories, managerial staff, you can call them Kshatriyas, and then Sudras, the workers themselves, but not this intermediate class. Prabhupada replying. That is stated, Kalo Shudra Sambhava. In this age, practically all men are Sudras. That is stated. But if they are simply Shudras, then the social order will be disturbed. In spite of your state of Shudras, the Brahmanas are there. That is necessary. So if you do not divide the social order in such a way, then it will be chaos. That is the scientific estimation of the Vedas. You may belong to the Shudra class, but to maintain the social order, you have to train some of the Shudras to become Brahmanas. It cannot depend on the Shudras. Prabhupada gave his standard analogy, comparing the social body to the human body. All parts are necessary, not only the legs, but the belly, the arms, the head. Otherwise, he said, it will not work properly. As long as this is going on, there will be some disturbance. Modern society's missing point Srila Prabhupada said, was an understanding of the purpose of human life. That is the missing point. Purpose of human life. They do not know what is the next life, he said. There is no department of knowledge or scientific department to study what is there after finishing this body, after death. What is there after death? Professor Kotovsky objected politely, completely. Swamiji, he said, when the body dies, the owner also dies. Prabhupada marked his reply. No, Prabhupada quickly replied. This fact you must know. Why is there no department of knowledge in the university to study this fact scientifically? That is my proposition. That department is lacking. It may be as you say, it may be as I say, but there must be a department of knowledge. Now, recently, a cardiologist, a doctor in Montreal and Toronto, has accepted that there is a soul. I had some correspondence with him. He strongly believes that there is a soul. Prabhupada continued to build his argument. We accept knowledge from authority. We accept knowledge from authority. The professor countered that everything had to be accepted on the basis of empirical evidence. But then, in mid-sentence, he stopped arguing and inquired, Have you many branches of your society in the world? Prabhupada, speaking about ISKCON with its 65 branches all around the world, and of how he was going next to Paris, where his disciples had recently acquired a new center, and of how the American boys and girls especially were joining this movement. He told of the 4 prohibitive rules: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling, and of the books he had published. As Prabhupada described the workings of his movement, Professor Kotovsky nodded approvingly. When Prabhupada returned to comparing Krishna consciousness to communism, he concluded that the two philosophies were in agreement and both stressed surrender to an authority. The devotee surrenders to Krishna, the communist to the Lenin. So I'll stop here. So Srila Prabhupada is having a conversation with a professor who is a Russian professor, and he's advocating socialism, that communism that Russia follows, and Prabhupada is trying to get the two philosophies together. And he said that Krishna consciousness is very similar to communism, because in Krishna consciousness, all the devotees surrender to Krishna, and in communist countries, they surrender to whoever the leader is and follow him. Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita Ki Jai, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 14, Text 27. So this verse has no meter, so we'll not recite, chant, but we'll definitely recite and do word to word. So I'll just go through the verse. Advani amushmin ima upasargastatha sukha dukha ragya dvesha bhaya bhiman pramadonamad shoka moha lobha matsarye yava manashut pipasadhi vyadhi janma jara marnadaya. So you can repeat after me the word to word. Advani on the path of material life. Amushmin on that ime all these. Upsarga eternal difficulties. Tatha so much also. Sukha so-called happiness. Dukkha unhappiness. Raga attachment. Dvesh hate. Bhaya fear. Abhiman false prestige. Pramad illusion. Unmad madness. Shock lamentation. Moha bewilderment. Lobha greed. Matsarya envy. Irshaya enmity. Avamana insult. Kshut hunger. Pipasa thirst. Adhi tribulations. Vyadhi diseases. Janma birth. Jara old age. Marana death. Adaya and so on. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So translation. In this materialistic life, sorry, there are many difficulties, as I have just mentioned, and all these are insurmountable. In addition, there are difficulties arising from so-called happiness, distress, attachment, hate, fear, false prestige, illusion, madness, lamentation, bewilderment, greed, envy, enmity, insult, hunger, thirst, tribulation, disease, birth, old age, and death. All these combine together to give the materialistic conditioned soul nothing but misery. Can you repeat after me? In this materialistic life, there are many difficulties, as I have just mentioned, and all these are insurmountable. In addition, there are difficulties arising from so-called happiness, distress, attachment, hate, fear, false prestige, illusion, madness, lamentation, bewilderment, greed, envy, enmity, insult, hunger, thirst, tribulation, disease, birth, old age, and death. All these combine together to give the materialistic conditioned soul nothing but misery. Purport. The conditioned soul has to accept all these conditions simply to enjoy sense gratification in this world. Although people declare themselves great scientists, economists, philosophers, politicians, and sociologists, they are actually nothing but rascals. Therefore, they have been described as murders and Naradhamas in Bhagavad Gita 7:15 by Krishna. Namam duskriti no mudha prapadyante naradhama maya aprahita jnana ashurim bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Krishna says. Um, Due to their foolishness, all these materialists are described in Bhagavad Gita as Naradhamas. They have attained the human form in order to get release from material bondage. But instead of doing so, they become further embarrassed amid the miserable material conditions. Therefore, they are Naradhamas, the lowest of men. One may ask whether scientists, philosophers, economists, and mathematicians are also Naradhamas, the lowest of men. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead replies that they are, because they have no actual knowledge. They are simply proud of their false prestige and position. Actually, they do not know how to get relief from material condition and renovate their spiritual life of transcendental bliss and knowledge. Consequently, they waste time and energy in search for so-called happiness. These are qualifications of demons. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that when one has all these demoniac qualities, he becomes a mudha. Due to this, he envies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, birth after birth, he is born into a demoniac family and he transmigrates from one demoniac body to another. Thus, he forgets his relationship with Krishna and remains anaradhama in an abominable condition, life after life. So I'll go back to the verse translation. In this materialistic life, there are many difficulties, as I have just mentioned, and all of these are insurmountable. In addition, there are difficulties arising from so-called happiness, distress, attachment, hate, fear, false prestige, illusion, madness, lamentation, bewilderment, greed, envy, enmity, insult, hunger, thirst, tribulation, disease, birth, old age, and death. All these combined together give the materialistic conditioned soul nothing but misery. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyat Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhautir Naishtiki. Okay, so in this just one verse, this one verse says it all. And one purport explains it all. Srila Prabhupada wonderfully explains the condition of people who are bereft of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. This verse actually is a kind of very powerful wake-up call for practicing devotees as well as those who are not devotees, those who have no knowledge of the Supreme Lord and the scriptures. So it's really very powerful, and it applies to everyone. If we are not careful as practicing devotees, we can fall into this also. So Srila Prabhupada very nicely and beautifully describes our condition in this material world. During the time of material manifestation, creation, and the acharyas say when the humans were already, they were kind of given a choice whether to stay or go back to Krishna in the spiritual world or come down here to the material world. So those who are here, like myself and yourself, we chose to enjoy, come down to this material world and enjoy separately from Krishna. We chose that, and that's why we are here in this material world. We didn't decide, or we didn't make that choice of going back home from there when Brahma created us, manifested this material universe. So, so when we came here now, the result is we thought we are going to enjoy, we'll be very happy, and we have been looking for happiness in so many different ways. And the result is list of miseries that we go through, list of sufferings that we go through in this material world. We are trying to enjoy this world through our senses, through this body, and the result is all many different types of suffering. Endeavoring for happiness in this material world is itself suffering. For example, when we want to, of course, we all have to work. We all have to work to survive here, to live, and to fulfill our basic needs, food, clothing, shelter. We have to work. And to work, even, it's a difficult task. Going to work, get up early in the morning, go in the traffic, rush. And then at the work, we have so many things to do. It's very stressful. Also depressing. We get chastised by our, authorities up there sometimes. And then, after that, 8 hours of work, come back home, rush again. So is it happiness or suffering? It is difficult. It's not easy, even just to endeavor to earn a living. So once we have earned, at the end of the week or 2 weeks, fortnightly we get salary. And then out of that, the government taxes us. After our hard labor, the government depends on our annual income. If you earn 90,000 plus, the government takes away 33% of your salary, your money, hard-earned money, through taxes. And then when we come back, whatever is left, then we still have to pay tax on, like VAT on consumer items, still pay tax. And in some cases, when we have saved some money and our families know that we have some money in the bank, so they come up and they ask for some help. And nowadays, there's scam going on. Your savings, somehow or other, is taken away by those scammers. So there's so much problem in this material world, and it's increasing, it's not decreasing. So all these problems are coming up because we did not want to accept Krishna and serve him. We thought, okay, we will come to this material world separate from Krishna and try to be happy and enjoy our life. But we can all see what we are going through. This is the fight of conditioned life, conditioned material life. We have accepted, in this conditioned material life, actually we have accepted our body as our ID. We are this body. That's why we have come here. We wanted to give pleasure to our body. That means we say we are this body. We accepted the body as me, the real self. And this is the result of accepting ourselves as the body. But there is a solution. Srimad Bhagavatam is providing us with a solution. Although we have come here, it's not that bad. There is still chance of going back home, back to Godhead. And Krishna kindly has given us so much to help us train and prepare ourselves to live in this material world, as well as to get ready to go back home, back to Godhead. And Srimad Bhagavatam, on one hand, is giving the real picture of this material nature. It's just as in this verse, it's mentioned so many miseries that we go through, and the ultimate is death. This is the nature of this material world. It is the forest filled with dangerous animals. Just like in the forest, when you go to the big forest, real forest, and then there are so many dangerous animals living in the forest: lions, tigers, snakes, scorpions. And if we are not careful, we'll be devoured or attacked by them. And there are other so many difficulties in the forest. So Srimad Bhagavatam is reminding us that we are also in this forest of the towns and cities and villages. This is another forest. And the forest animals are described as our family members who are giving us troubles, our friends in the society. These are the forest animals who are dangerous. What is the purpose of this description or explanation? Forest of the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam says the purpose is to turn this forest of material world, or forest of enjoyment, into Vrindavan. Into Vrindavan, beautiful forest. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to direct us towards. Transform this forest of material enjoyment into the forest of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan forest, where Krishna and Balaram and all the cowhead boys enjoy themselves and did so many wonderful pastimes there. It's just a joyful, no miseries with Krishna. while speaking about this forest of material suffering, Srimad Bhagavatam is also uh, giving us information about another forest, and that is Vrindavan. On one hand, the forest of material enjoyment is full of difficulties and dangers. On the other hand, the forest of Vrindavan is full of joy and happiness and bliss. And who is the center of the forest of Vrindavan? Krishna is the center of the forest of Vrindavan. Thank you. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the center of forest of Vrindavan. And the forest of material enjoyment, we are trying to be the center of this forest of, we want to enjoy. And that's where the problem is. We don't want to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam is to move us, take us from the forest of suffering to the forest of Krishna consciousness. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to do. Give us the knowledge and also the advantages of shifting our mentality, our activities from the forest of suffering, from the forest of material world to the forest of Vrindavan, Krishna consciousness. As we all know, Vrindavan forest is so very beautiful. It's full of flowering trees and trees laden with fruits. And it is mentioned that honey drips from the trees. From the trees, the honey drips so much. Opulence is there. And it is situated within the ocean of milk because Krishna tends Surbhi cows. And Surbhi cows give unlimited milk. And because they are always in ecstasy, so the milk drips and it fills the whole place. So it's ocean of milk. And this is the spiritual world. So all our miseries in this material world and the problems will disappear as soon as we surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of all mystics. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijyor Bhutir Dhruvam Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will certainly also be opulence, victory, and so on and so forth. That's the last verse in Bhagavad Gita, I think. So, this is the point given in this verse that we have to, if we want to get rid of all these problems and miseries, we have to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And how do we get out of this forest of material enjoyment? And the answer is, as soon as we take shelter of Krishna and his devotees, we will start the journey of happiness. We'll start it. Srila Prabhupada mentions rejecting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, rejecting Krishna and spiritual world. We try to become Krishna and enjoy this material world. And the result is simply klesha, dukh, suffering. And the suffering doesn't stop. It goes on and on and on, increases. Krishna even told us in Bhagavad Gita, Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatam. This material world is full of miseries. And everyone experiences that. Everyone. Even any species of life, whether they are aquatics, fish, birds, animals in the forest, trees and plants, and humans and the demigods up there in the material world, they all experience suffering and difficulties. No one can escape. But Krishna Bhakti immediately gives relief from suffering. As soon as we take to Bhakti process, devotional service, it will immediately start giving us relief. And someone may ask, the devotees also go through so many difficulties and sufferings. Same thing, we go through the same thing. We have diseases, we go through illness and so many things. We have like diabetes and heart problems. Devotees go through that. But Srila Prabhupada mentions, no. Devotees don't suffer. It appears that they are suffering. They do not actually suffer. Why? Because all the suffering is pertaining to the body. This body suffers. But devotees understand that they are not this body, but they are spirit soul. So all the suffering is to the body, not to the spirit soul. The spirit soul is Sat Chit Anand, always in bliss. So as long as we identify ourselves as this body, there will be suffering, we will experience it very badly. But as soon as we understand that we are not this body, but we are soul, we are Jivatma, then these sufferings become less and less. We will be able to tolerate and so on. So, there is a devotee in ISKCON, and she is a young girl, high school girl, and she is in wheelchair. And she goes through a lot of this bodily suffering. If you are in the wheelchair based, you can't move yourself, you depend on others, then that is suffering itself. I am teaching in a special needs school, and I can see so many sufferings. Those who work in the hospital, doctors, nurses, and so many people work in the hospital. You see the suffering there. People go through so many pains, tribulations, and suffering. So I have seen some of the students in special needs, they can't feed themselves. They can't eat. They can't eat solid food. So they have to be given special liquid food. And it goes through the nostril or goes through the tummy here with the button, special one. So they go through all this, and they just lie in the wheelchair. Can't do anything. So much suffering. So this girl who is a devotee, she used to pray to Krishna, um, please Krishna, try to free me from this suffering. Try to free me. And everyone prays. When we suffer, then we remember Krishna, we remember God. When we don't have any suffering and difficulties, then we are free. We become, we are forgetful. Forgetfulness. We forget our relationship with Krishna. We forget God. And then as soon as we get into trouble, then remember, oh Bhagavan, please bachalo, please help me. Yeah. Then this girl had one wonderful realization that it's very, very wonderful realization that we can think about it and meditate on that. She said it, these are her words. As long as I was thinking I was this body, I was suffering. And I prayed to Krishna, please cure me. That girl was saying. She's a high school girl in the wheelchair, but she was still studying. Mentally, she was okay, but physically, she was not. So she said, as long as I was thinking I was this body, I was suffering. And I prayed to Krishna, please cure me. And then when she somehow or other came to Krishna consciousness, and after some years, she realized this is her statement. She wrote this letter to her guru after some time when she took initiation. And she said, but when I realized I'm not this body, but pure spirit soul, this is not affecting me anymore. And I'm not praying to Krishna to cure me. So she said that when I realized that I'm not this body, I am a spirit soul, then this suffering did not affect her anymore. And she also stopped praying to Krishna, please cure me. She stopped saying that. What a beautiful realization. And yes, we all should be very Krishna conscious. So Krishna conscious does not relate to only age, that when you get old then we do bhakti and puja. No. Krishna conscious is not pertaining to age. Anybody at any age can do bhakti. As Prahlad Maharaj said, start from age of 5 years. Kumar Acharat Pragya. Krishna conscious is a matter of elevation of spirit soul. Elevation of our thoughts. And that's elevation of the spirit soul. Okay. So when we have difficulties, the acharyas mention that all these difficulties that come to us, take them as a stepping stone towards our spiritual progress. We should learn, we should reflect on the difficulties and think why we are suffering, what led to this problem. That should become our stepping stone towards spiritual progress, and that will help us materially too. All these difficulties. We did not come here to enjoy actually, and when we have that mentality, we will suffer. So those difficulties that come to us, take them as blessings from Krishna and as an opportunity to make spiritual advancement. So all the difficulties that come to us, It's kind of blessings from Krishna. And it is an opportunity to make advancement in spiritual life. This is how we should take the difficulties that come to us. So we should accept the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, as we have just studied this verse, very, very seriously. We should study scriptures regularly. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Every day we should be reading so that we get all this knowledge, and we should try to practice them in our life and apply them in our own lives. This is what is needed actually. Srila Prabhupada has been so kind, very kind, immensely, infinitely kind. He has given us all these scriptures and translated them, and it has become accessible to us. We can readable to us. They are available to everyone. And he didn't only give these scriptures, and he wrote the purpose, wonderful purpose, his realizations, which give us so much information and so much knowledge, and help us to redirect our lives towards bhakti yoga, devotional service to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada also facilitated to build temples throughout the world, like this beautiful temple here in Kumeu, New Zealand. What is the purpose of the temple? To help us practice, apply the knowledge of the scriptures in our lives, and serve their lordships and the Vaishnavas. That's the purpose of the temples and the centers. They teach us. That's where we go and learn the knowledge, and then the devotees are there to help us practice it and apply it in our lives. And a very important aspect of devotional service is service. Devotional service itself is service. So we learn how to serve the Vaishnavas, serve the devotees, serve other people, and also serve their lordships in the temple and at home as well. So all devotees must become fully committed to Krishna consciousness. Those who are practicing devotees, those who are initiated, first and second initiated, and taking vanaprastha and so on and so forth, we should be very committed to Krishna consciousness, try our best and do our best. Srila Prabhupada made all these arrangements. He given the books and the temples and centers. He has given us spiritual masters, gurus, to help us practice this Krishna consciousness and make advancement in our spiritual journey. Hari Bol, Madhumangal Prabhu. So this is the real purpose of ISKCON. What is it? From body consciousness, take us to Krishna consciousness. When we remain in Krishna consciousness, then we experience how beautifully the forest transforms, this forest of material enjoyment transforms into Sri Vrindavan forest, where Lord Krishna is the center. So, let's see, I had something else to say before I conclude. There's something here. It is stated that Harim vina mirtim na taranti. No one can save himself from the cruel hands of death, disease, and all the miseries without being favored by Hari, means Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in Bhagavad Gita it is stated, Mam eva hi prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. Whoever fully surrenders unto Krishna can be saved from the cruel hands of this material nature. So we can be saved. We just have to associate with devotees and they will guide us through. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we will be able to, in this very life, go back home, back to Godhead. So I'll stop here. Any comments and questions? आप लोग के लिए प्रसाद है नीचे. अच्छा, सबके लिए. Any questions and comments? Material life is suffering. And Srimad Bhagavatam advises to transform this material forest of material suffering into forest of Vrindavan. That's it. And this forest of suffering will become forest of Vrindavan. We'll enjoy, yeah. And that's what is happening, you know. As we advance in Krishna consciousness, we are enjoying life. Serving Krishna, serving devotees, and practicing, trying our best to do our sadhana well, chant Hare Krishna, and eat prasadam. All right, so we'll stop here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, viewers. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari. Oh, jai. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Krishna.